I find there's a lot of misleading information about self-validation. There is a confusion about validating one's identity versus validation as the warmth of nourishment, of emotional nourishment. And so there's different definitions or understanding of what exactly is validation. And there seems to be an ideology from a group of people who have struggled to have a sense of self, and that their sense of self is externally referenced, so that they need to be told who they are because they don't know who they are. And there's many jokes about like, how are you? Well, you tell me how I am, or, based upon what you say, or what do you want for dinner? Whatever you want. And this idea, so the word validation in that context means a person who's unable to have a point of view. And so to hear self-validation, and then this leaks over into, or becomes synonymous with self-love. And the drumbeat, the ideology goes, I need to love myself solely, first, completely. I am the foundation. If I don't love myself, no one else will love me. I can't love someone else. Same thing with validation. I need to validate myself. If I don't validate myself, then I'm subject to the whims and the changes of other people's opinions of me, and I will very easily be thrown. And because some people struggle to have a relationship with their own sense of self, and they are so easily thrown, it becomes part of a therapeutic intervention or therapeutic approach that says, stay very focused on what do you want? What are your choices? How do you take care of yourself? Quit monitoring what other people are doing, and stay grounded in giving yourself what you need. So from that sense, as a chapter of healing or a chapter of personal development, that totally makes sense. However, validation and also the exchange of love is about exchange. And validation is about nourishment. And we need to be nourished. The seed in the garden needs the sunshine and needs the water and needs the nutrients in the soil. We do not tell the seed that it's your job to give yourself all of the nourishment and be completely self-sufficient. So this is how, we could say many ideas have an aspect that is helpful and meaningful and applicable, and then at the same time there are some ideas that simultaneously have us go away from applying it in such a way that it's helpful and it becomes unhelpful. So this is how this idea of self-validation and self-love as being the one and only, the main drumbeat of your raison d'etre of how you're going to approach your life, it is very limiting. And just like we can't tell the seed in the garden that the seed is responsible for complete self-sufficiency, that the seed is interconnected and interdependent upon the nourishment and the warmth and the conditions surrounding it. And this is what is meant by validation. It's okay to need, quote unquote need, to have a need for validation. That does not confuse, that is not confusing that you are therefore going to be feeding a neurosis of not having a self. What it means is that you are open to the goodness, you're open to the positivity, you're open to the encouragement that we all need to let in as a human being, because one, it helps us grow, but quite honestly, it feels good. It's nice when people laugh with you. It's nice when people enjoy your company. It's nice when people, hold the door open for you and get a small random act of kindness. It's nice when someone says, "Oh, that sweater looks nice on you. You look really good today." It's very enjoyable when, a colleague at work comes up to you and says, "Hey, when you said that one thing in the meeting, that was really, really good stuff. That was so helpful. I'm glad that you said it because you were saying what we were all thinking." Those are forms of validation as nourishment. And we cannot create this hierarchy that says, well, I only need to validate myself and everything else is going to be extra or superfluous. Again, to repeat, the reason why people say this is because they're linking letting in validation, and they are suspect of their own need for nourishment and warmth through validation, and that they are defining validation as supporting their identity. And yes, you can practice knowing that you have to ultimately be in the driver's seat of your life. And yes, you ultimately need to be grounded in a sense of self so that you can be authentic. But keep in mind, one way that we know who we are, or a major way that we know who we are, is through the mirroring that we receive from others. So even then, even knowing that we have to be conscious of supporting our own identity, it doesn't exist in a vacuum. Similar to the example of the seed in the garden, we are interdependent with each other. We are interconnected with each other. And not only does that allow us to be open to warmth and generosity and caring and encouragement, but it also allows us to be open to receive the positive feedback of the aspects of ourselves that bring out the better qualities of who we are, and we affirm who we are. That as the song goes, so that people need people, and it is okay, quote unquote, to have this need. We do not need to we do not need to relegate or diminish the need out of fear of believing that therefore then we're needy or it's inappropriate to want feedback from others and to want helpful support that let us know that people enjoy us, people value us. You're a good person. I want to spend time with you. And the only way you're going to know this is in the interactions of validating. And it doesn't mean validating in the sense that, like judge and jury. It's not like passing judgment. Like I'm in control. I have all the power, and I will validate whether or not that joke is or isn't funny. I will validate whether or not you're offering, so you're talking to me and interacting with me. I will validate whether or not you have permission to do that. We're not talking about validation in the context of a power dynamic. We're talking about it as a mutual exchange and a way of plugging into our interconnectedness, plugging into the abundance around us, plugging into community, plugging into friendship. This is why it's okay to be needy, and this is why it's okay to want to be validated. It is my birthright. I am a human being. I love to be validated. It's important to be validated. Yes, I simultaneously validate myself. Yes, I simultaneously want to mirror back to you and how I could offer some support and caring and help you feel validated. But there's a balance of a give and take back and forth. So we're not creating a hierarchy that says, oh, just do it all for yourself and everything else is extra. Instead of this idea of a hierarchy, think of it more in terms of an exchange of balance. Yes, we are needy, and yes, We need to be validated.